So I recently entered a web design competition from Flux Academy where I had to design and build a homepage for Greenleaf Cafe, which is a fictional Portland cafe specializing in farm-to-table meals and organic coffee. Well, the results are in, and I did not make it into the top 10. I know, bummer. But I knew it was a long shot. There were a lot of people that put in submissions, and there were plenty of designers that probably had way more experience than I do. But the good thing is that I'm still glad that I did it because I learned a lot from it. And so in this video, I wanted to share a few things that I learned, some of which are web design specific, and other lessons are more self-development and mindset related. So let's start with the web design lessons. So the first thing I learned is implementing more visual flourishes to make my website more engaging. So if you look through the website, which I'll put a link to in the description below, there are these wave borders that I put in different arc borders, and my whole thought with doing that was to make the website just look more engaging, eliminate sharp borders, that kind of a thing. Another thing I implemented was having like parallax veggies as you scroll through the page to kind of accent the fact that this is a company that specializes in farm-to-table meals. And then one of the other things that I did visual flourish wise is just implementing like SVG accents, which you can see throughout the web page. And so again, I'm just trying to make this website as inviting and as friendly as possible so that they would want to go to this fictional cafe. And so this was really neat to learn because this isn't something that I've really implemented before. And it's not like any of these things are immensely complicated, although I will say the parallax veggies were a little bit difficult to animate to make it look right. But then again, it was good to learn that. But in any case, a lot of this was figuring out how to do enough of these flourishes to where it complements the website and when to not overdo it to where it becomes clutter at that point. And so I felt like I striked a pretty decent balance with that. But you can take a look at the website and you can let me know your feedback on that. The second thing I learned is doing different custom code implementations. So one of the things that I wanted on the website was Google reviews because I didn't want to input just static customer testimonials because that just doesn't seem very authentic, especially if this is a brick and mortar cafe and restaurant. People typically want to see Google reviews. And so I found a widget from Elfsight that allows you to do that. And it really worked well for this project. And I have a link below if you're curious and checking that out. But that is something that helped me out a lot when it came to just making it simple to import Google reviews to this project. And then the other thing that I did was use ChatGPT to come up with custom JavaScript that I could use to create a dynamic hours of operation. So I wanted a way to be able to bold the current day and hours that they're open, as well as highlight the row that day is in. And I used JavaScript to do that. And if you're not used to it, it can be difficult, but I have found that with ChatGPT, it's been very helpful with allowing me to essentially learn JavaScript, but without needing to code. And I actually have a whole other video that talks about how I've been learning that process of implementing custom JavaScript without going through the rigmarole of learning JavaScript completely from scratch. All right, now let's move on to the mindset lessons that I learned, or more just the attitudes that I've taken throughout this project. So the first thing that I think was important to have was high hopes and low expectations, which I think is actually a country song if I'm not mistaken. But in any case, I think this is important because the way that I kind of interpret this is I have high hopes because in the sense that I know that I have the possibility to make it to the top 10. The possibility is not zero, but I'm also tempering my expectations because I'm looking at the objective data of, oh, I've only been doing this a little over a year, and there are people that are entering this competition that probably have years and years and years more experience than I do. So I think this is a good balance to have because if I had high hopes and high expectations, then I think I would feel a lot more down on myself than I do. Like right now, I feel fine. I'm still happy that I did this competition. And so I think by having this combination, and if I had low hopes and low expectations, then I might not even enter the competition to begin with, because then I don't even think there's a possibility of me being in the top 10. So that's why I feel like having this mindset of having these high hopes and low expectations is sort of a good balance to challenge myself to do these difficult tasks and competitions, and also sort of tempering any like failure that I get, because I see it as still a worthwhile thing that I pursued, as opposed to like a waste of time. And this leads well to the second thing that I've learned and the mindset that I've adopted, which is failing isn't bad if I learn something. So I learned a lot during this project. I mean, the stuff that I talked about with the website, I learned all of those things when it came to doing this project. And so if I had not entered that competition, I would not have learned those things. And so my skill as a designer has already improved just by doing and building that website. And so, I think it's easy to look at this as, oh, I failed. Oh, this is terrible. I should give up. But, it's really only a true failure if I don't learn anything from it. Like if I continue to fail and I don't see that as an opportunity to improve, then that's where the true failure comes in. But other than that, this is really just a learning opportunity for me. And when future opportunities come down the road where I can enter other competitions, or there's other things where I can try to improve upon my skills, I will be more likely to do that, because I will see that as an opportunity to improve my skills. And sort of the last thing that I've taken with me is this competition has really fueled me to continue to improve. There were a lot of challenges that I encountered with designing this web page, because a lot of these things that I implemented were just new to me, things that I haven't done before. And so knowing that, hey, like I've been able to improve in a very short amount of time, this now kind of fuels me to continue to improve, because I now know, like, hey, my current skill set isn't enough to make it into this competition of top 10 designers. And it's not to say like that's my end goal and like my only goal with design is to be in the top 10 designers in the world. Like that's not really my goal, but my goal is to do things that challenge me, and to challenge me to come up with more complex designs, and not complex just for the sake of it, but that serve the purpose of the website, and to be able to just become a more well-rounded, developed designer. And so doing these events like this really help to, just provide that fuel for me to continue to get better. Same with posting it publicly allows me to get better, right? You all see the work that I do, and you now publicly know that I did not make the top 10. And so that is now also some more accountability for me to continue to improve on my skill set. And I feel like that kind of will serve me well on my path towards being a better designer. So from here on out, my plan is to do exactly that. Continue to improve. And I encourage you to do the same if you're on a similar path, no matter what your path is. If it's web design, development, UX design, something totally different, continue to improve. And as always, I'll be sure to share my journey with you. So if you aren't subscribed already, be sure to do so. And I will see you in the next video. Take care.